Welcome back to the GMP and Quality Fundamentals series, and this is Lecture 18. In Lecture 17, we learn how to run an internal audit. Today, we move to the event that internal audits are designed to prepare you for. The regulatory inspection. A regulatory inspection is when the FDA, the EMA, or another national authority sends their inspectors into your facility to verify that your quality system meets GMP standards. The difference between a facility that passes with no action indicated and one that receives a warning letter is not luck. It is preparation, culture, and knowing exactly what inspectors look for. This lecture gives you that knowledge. Here is what we will cover today. Number 1, you will understand the 3 types of regulatory inspections: routine, for cause, and pre-approval. They are very different in nature and consequence. Number 2, you will learn the top 10 most cited GMP deficiency areas by FDA and EMA. These are the areas where you must be strongest. Number 3, we will go deep on data integrity, because it is now the single most common driver of warning letters worldwide. Number 4, you will learn exactly how to behave during an inspection, what to do, and what you must never do. Number 5, you will understand Form 483 observations and warning letters, and how to respond to each in a way that closes the issue rather than escalating it. Not all regulatory inspections are the same. There are 3 main types, and each one has a different trigger, a different level of risk, and requires a different level of preparation. The first is a routine or periodic inspection. This is a scheduled surveillance visit. FDA inspects U.S. pharmaceutical manufacturers approximately every 2 years. EU national authorities inspect on a risk-based frequency, typically every 3 to 5 years for established facilities. The inspection covers all areas of the operation. There is no specific trigger. It is simply your turn. The outcome is classified as NAI, no action indicated, which means you passed. VAI, voluntary action indicated, which means there are concerns but they are not immediately critical. Or OAI, official action indicated, which is the most serious classification and leads to further regulatory action. The second type is a for cause inspection. This is triggered by a specific event: a product recall, a serious adverse event report, a whistleblower complaint, a media report of contamination. When inspectors arrive for a for cause inspection, they come with a specific concern and they focus almost their entire investigation on it. These inspections are far higher stakes than routine visits. The trigger itself is already a red flag. They may arrive unannounced or with very short notice. If the trigger concern is confirmed and shown to be systemic, a warning letter or import alert is highly likely. The third type is a pre-approval inspection, or PI. This happens before FDA or EMA approves a new drug or biological product. The purpose is to verify that the data submitted in the regulatory dossier actually reflects what your facility does in practice. The key areas of focus are manufacturing process validation, analytical method validation, and batch record integrity. A failed PI can delay a product launch by months or years. Data integrity is scrutinized with particular intensity during PIs. Now let us look at what inspectors actually focus on. This table summarizes the top 10 most cited deficiency areas in FDA and EMA inspections. These are not theoretical risks. These are the areas that generate findings in the majority of inspections every year. Number 1 is laboratory controls. This is the most cited area in pharmaceutical inspections globally. OS investigations that are inadequate, analytical methods that are not validated, and analysts who are not properly qualified. If your laboratory quality is weak, inspectors will find it. Number 2 is data integrity. This has moved into the top 3 most cited areas and is now the leading cause of warning letters. We will look at this in detail on the next slide. Number 3 is the CAPA system. Inspectors look for whether the root cause was truly identified, whether the corrective action was effective, and whether repeat findings indicate that the CAPA system is not working. Number 4 is production and batch records. Incomplete batch records, unexplained discrepancies, and missing in-process controls are classic findings. Number 5 is equipment qualification. Using equipment outside its calibration date, gaps in cleaning validation, and incomplete IQ, OQ, or PQ documentation, then continuing down the list: change control failures, deviation management issues, training record gaps, inadequate supplier qualification, and environmental monitoring program deficiencies. If you want to focus your inspection preparation effort, this table tells you exactly where to direct it. Data integrity deserves its own detailed discussion because it is now the inspection priority globally. Inspectors no longer simply review paper records. They request electronic raw data. They ask for audit trail printouts from your HPLC software, your LIMS, your balances, and your environmental monitoring systems. They compare original data files to what appears in batch records and certificates of analysis. They interview analysts about their data practices. And they look for patterns. There are 4 specific areas where inspectors focus their data integrity review. Audit trails. Inspectors will request the audit trail from your analytical software and look for deleted test runs. Reprocess data without justification and timestamp anomalies. A single deleted injection is one of the most serious findings possible. It suggests that results were manipulated. Even if there was an innocent technical reason for the deletion, without contemporaneous documentation of that reason, it will be treated as a potential integrity violation. Original versus reported data. They compare the raw chromatogram file, the balance printout, or the spectral file to what appears in the batch record. Any numerical discrepancy between the raw data and the reported result demands a documented explanation. If there is none, it is a finding. Electronic systems access. Who can log into the analytical software? Can analysts change results without supervisor review? Are shared login credentials in use? Regulators require that every action in a computerized system is attributable to a specific individual. Shared usernames are an immediate finding. Paper record completeness. ALCOA is the guiding principle. Attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, and accurate. Whiteout, pencil entries, blank fields in completed records, and entries made hours or days after the event are all data integrity flags that inspectors are trained to look for. Now let us talk about preparation. What should you be doing in the months before an expected inspection? On the documentation side, run a mock audit of your highest risk areas 3 to 6 months before your scheduled inspection window. A mock audit by an independent internal auditor or an external consultant will surface the most significant gaps while you still have time to fix them. Ensure all SOPs are current. Check review dates. Withdraw any obsolete versions from active use. An inspector who picks up an SOP with an expired review date will immediately check what else has been allowed to lapse. Verify that all CAPA and deviation files are complete. Every open CAPA should have a current status. Every closed CAPA should have documented evidence of completion and effectiveness verification. Confirm all training records are current for every analyst performing GMP tasks. This is one of the fastest and most visible checks an inspector makes. It takes 5 minutes to pull a training record. If it is missing, it is an immediate finding. Check all equipment calibration and maintenance logs. Everything in routine use should be within its qualification period. Prepare a document room. A dedicated space with key files pre-organized and indexed so that when an inspector requests a document, it takes 2 minutes to retrieve, not 45. On the team preparation side, hold an inspection readiness briefing for all staff who may be interviewed. Cover what inspectors are allowed to ask, how to answer, and how to escalate a question they are not sure about. Train staff on inspection etiquette. Answer only what is asked. Do not volunteer information beyond what was requested. Be concise and factual. Designate a runner whose only role during the inspection is to retrieve requested documents quickly. Assign a note-taker who accompanies the inspector at all times and records every question asked and every document reviewed. This record is invaluable for your closing meeting preparation and your response to any observations. During the inspection itself, your behavior matters as much as your documentation. On the do side, answer only what is asked, concisely and accurately. If you do not know the answer to a question, say so clearly and offer to find out. Do not guess. Do not speculate. Providing a wrong answer is far more damaging than saying you need to check. Provide requested documents promptly. Delays signal disorganization and give inspectors the impression that records may be incomplete or difficult to find. Take notes on every question the inspector asks and every document they review. This is how you prepare for the closing meeting. Stay calm even when the questioning becomes uncomfortable. Experienced inspectors deliberately ask challenging questions to observe how staff respond under pressure. Composure is itself a quality signal. Escort the inspector at all times. No solo access to computer systems, storage areas, or documentation. At the end of each inspection day, hold a brief internal debrief. Review what was observed, what documents were requested, and what the inspector's focus appears to be. Prepare for the next day accordingly. On the never side. Never lie, never guess, and never speculate. Never volunteer information that was not requested. If you open a file to answer one question and the inspector sees something concerning on a different page, that is a finding you created by volunteering information. Never argue with the inspector. You can politely correct a factual misunderstanding and provide evidence to support your position. But arguing about regulatory interpretation damages the relationship and rarely changes the outcome. Never, under any circumstances, destroy, alter, or hide any record. This transforms a compliance issue into a criminal matter. And never make promises about corrective actions that you cannot realistically deliver on time. An overdue CAPA commitment made under inspection pressure generates a second finding. At the end of an FDA inspection, the inspector issues what is called a Form 483. This is the official document listing their inspectional observations. Receiving a 483 is serious, but it is not the end. How you respond determines what comes next. Step 1. At the closing meeting, the inspector reads each observation aloud. You may ask clarifying questions. You may provide a brief verbal response but do not make commitments you cannot keep. Request a written copy of the 483 immediately before the inspector leaves. Step 2. Respond in writing within 15 business days. This is not mandatory by law, but failing to respond, or responding late, signals indifference and virtually guarantees escalation to a warning letter. Your response must be structured, specific, and evidence-based. Step 3. For each observation, your response must do 5 things. Acknowledge the observation without admitting regulatory violation. State your root cause analysis. Describe your corrective action. Provide evidence that the corrective action has been implemented. And give a realistic timeline for any work still in progress. Step 4. Be specific. Responses that say we will improve our documentation practices are dismissed. Responses that state SOPQC 007 was revised on June 15, 2026, training was completed for 18 analysts on June 20, 2026, and training records are attached as Appendix B, close observations. Specific evidence closes findings. Vague promises do not. Step 5. Know the outcomes. No action indicated means the observation is resolved. Voluntary action indicated means FDA has noted concerns and will monitor. Official action indicated means a warning letter is likely, which may be followed by an import alert, a consent decree, or in the most serious cases, a facility shutdown. A warning letter is FDA's formal notification that a facility is in significant violation of regulations. It is public, posted on the FDA website for anyone to read. It is addressed to the company's most senior executive. And it requires a formal response within 15 business days. The most common triggers for warning letters in recent years are data integrity violations, particularly deleted test runs or falsified records. Inadequate OS investigations where samples were retested without scientific justification. Failure to validate manufacturing processes. Inadequate CAPA where the same violations are found repeatedly across multiple inspections. And lack of management oversight of the quality system. For warning letter responses, the strategy is as follows. Respond within 15 business days even if you cannot provide complete corrective actions yet. Acknowledge receipt and commit to a realistic timeline. Address every individual item in the letter. Every item. If you skip one, FDA will note it in their follow-up. For serious violations, retain an external regulatory consultant who has experience dealing with FDA enforcement actions. These situations require expertise beyond routine quality management. Demonstrate systemic fixes, not just fixes to the specific items cited. FDA wants to see that you understand the root cause and that you have addressed the underlying system weakness, not just the surface observation. And commit to a reinspection, prepare thoroughly for it, and demonstrate during that reinspection that the culture and the systems have genuinely changed. Let me now address the European perspective, because many of you work in or supply to European markets. In Europe, GMP inspections are conducted by national competent authorities. The BfArM in Germany, the MHRA in the United Kingdom, the ANSM in France. The EMA coordinates inspections for centrally authorized products. The fundamental GMP requirements are the same globally. But there are practical differences between FDA and EU inspections. Inspection frequency. FDA inspects US sites approximately every 2 years. EU inspections operate on a risk-based schedule, typically every 3 to 5 years for well-performing sites, more frequently for higher-risk operations. Announcement. EU inspections are usually announced 4 to 6 weeks in advance. For cause inspections may be shorter notice. FDA for cause inspections can be unannounced. Duration. Both FDA and EU inspections typically run 2 to 4 days for a standard facility. Complex operations take longer. Outcome documents. FDA issues Form 483 observations followed potentially by a warning letter. EU authorities issue a written inspection report and, for serious findings, a non-compliance report. The most serious EU outcome is withdrawal of the GMP certificate, which can halt manufacturing. Data integrity focus. Both FDA and EU give this equal priority. The Alcoa Plus principles are explicitly referenced in EMA guidelines. Electronic and paper records are scrutinized equally. One additional point for laboratories specifically. ISO 17025 accredited testing laboratories may receive slightly different treatment in some EU jurisdictions for certain analytical activities. But GMP requirements still apply for all testing in support of batch release. Let me finish with what I believe is the most important element of inspection readiness. Culture. Experienced inspectors can assess the culture of a facility within the first hour. They watch how staff behave when they walk into a room. Do people make eye contact or look away? Are answers consistent across different team members or do they contradict each other? Do staff know where their SOPs are and can they reference them confidently? Culture cannot be trained in the week before an inspection. It is built over months and years. And there are 5 specific cultural signals that inspectors look for. Everyday compliance. The best inspection preparation is to follow your SOPs precisely every single day. Not only when you expect an inspector. Inspectors review records going back months. They look for patterns. A facility that practices daily compliance leaves no pattern of non-compliance to find. Open communication. A culture where staff feel safe raising deviations, reporting near misses, and speaking up about problems is a culture that impresses inspectors. If your team is afraid to raise issues, those undocumented events become the most dangerous findings, because inspectors may find evidence of them in your data. Visible quality metrics. Display your KPI dashboards. Show your OS trend data. Demonstrate that your system measures itself and acts on what it finds. Inspectors respond positively to organizations that hold themselves accountable through data. Management engagement. Inspectors always speak with senior management. They want to see that the QA director, the laboratory manager, and the site director know their quality system, understand the open CAPAs, and are personally committed to compliance. A senior leader who cannot name their top 3 quality risks is a significant red flag, and self-identified findings. The most credible thing you can say to an inspector is this: "We found this problem ourselves through our internal audit program, and here is the CAPA we raised." That single statement signals a functioning quality system. It tells the inspector that your internal controls are working. It is the most powerful demonstration of quality culture you can offer. Let us bring the lecture together. 6 things to remember. Number 1. There are 3 types of inspection. routine, for cause, and pre-approval. Each has different triggers, different focus areas, and different potential consequences. Number 2. The top inspection findings are laboratory controls, data integrity, CAPA, production records, and equipment qualification. Focus your preparation effort on these areas first. Number 3. Data integrity is now the leading cause of FDA warning letters. Inspectors check audit trails, raw data files, and electronic access logs. Every deleted run is a potential finding with serious consequences. Number 4. During the inspection, answer only what is asked. Provide documents promptly, take notes on everything, and escort the inspector at all times. Never guess. Never argue. Never hide anything. Number 5. A Form 483 response must be specific, evidence-based, and submitted within 15 business days. Vague commitments escalate to warning letters. Specific evidence closes observations. Number 6. The most powerful inspection preparation is everyday compliance and an open quality culture. Inspectors read culture within the first hour. It cannot be faked, and it cannot be created the week before they arrive. That is Lecture 18 complete. Coming next in Lecture 19, we cover technical agreements with suppliers. You will learn what a technical agreement is, what it must contain under GMP regulations, how to negotiate and manage one, and why inspectors check them in every single inspection. If this lecture helped you, please give it a like. Subscribe if you have not already. And drop your questions in the comments. I read every one and I reply. I will see you in Lecture 19.